First love at the school library. The school library had always been the quietest corner of Eastwood High, a place where the air smelled faintly of paper and dust, where the sunlight filtered through high windows and fell in soft golden squares across the wooden floor. For most students, it was simply a refuge from the chaos of the hallways. For Ethan, it was something more a sanctuary. Ethan was the kind of boy who blended into the background. His brown hair was always a little messy, his uniform slightly wrinkled, and his voice rarely rose above a whisper. He spent his lunch breaks hidden between the tall bookshelves, sketching in his notebook or reading old novels. No one else touched Dot. It was on one such lunch break that he first saw Liam. Liam was new. Transfer student from another city, tall, with dark, curly hair and an easy smile that seemed to light up the dullest of classrooms. Everyone noticed him, especially Ethan, though he tried not to. There was something about the way Liam moved, confident but not arrogant, that drew people in. On that day, Liam walked into the library like he belonged there, scanning the shelves until his eyes landed on Ethan. "Hey," Liam said softly, leaning against the opposite shelf. "Do you know where they keep the poetry books?" Ethan's throat tightened. Yeah, over there." He pointed, but Liam didn't move. Instead, he tilted his head. "You read a lot?" Liam asked that. Ethan shrugged. "Sometimes." Liam smiled faintly, almost as if he'd just solved a small puzzle. "Maybe you can recommend something?" That was how it started. A simple exchange over poetry books. But over the next few weeks, Liam started appearing in the library more and more. Sometimes he'd sit across from Ethan without saying much, just reading or scribbling in his own notebook. Other times, they'd whisper about books, music, or little things that happened in class. Ethan noticed things he wasn't supposed to notice. The way Liam's laughter was always quiet but warm, the way his eyes crinkled at the corners when he smiled, the way his hand would brush Ethan's accidentally when they both reached for the same book, but Ethan kept it inside. He knew what people at school whispered about boys who were different, and he wasn't ready for those whispers to be about him. One rainy afternoon, when most students were huddled in the cafeteria, Ethan and Liam sat by the window in the library. The rain tapped softly against the glass. Liam was reading, but his mind seemed somewhere else. "Hey," Liam said suddenly, "do you ever feel like you're hiding parts of yourself?" Ethan froze. "What do you mean?" Liam closed his book, his expression thoughtful. "Like, you want to say something, but you're scared of what people will think. So you keep it locked up." Ethan's heart pounded. He knew exactly what Liam meant. "Yeah," he whispered, "all the time." There was a silence broken only by the sound of the rain. Liam leaned forward slightly. "I'm gay, Ethan." The words hung in the air like a secret too heavy to move. Ethan's breath caught. Liam was watching him carefully, as if bracing for rejection. Ethan swallowed hard. I think I might be too." Something shifted between them in that moment, not loud, not dramatic, but like a locked door quietly clicking open. Liam's eyes softened, and for the first time, Ethan felt truly seen. From then on, their library afternoons felt different. They still talked about books, still shared quiet smiles, but now there was an unspoken truth between them. Ethan noticed how Liam's hand would linger near his on the table, how their shoulders would brush when they leaned over the same page. One Friday after school, the library was nearly empty. The fading sunlight made the air golden, and dust motes danced slowly above the tables. Liam was sitting across from Ethan, pretending to read, but his gaze kept flicking up. "What?" Ethan asked, half-dashed smiling. Liam hesitated, then said, "Can I show you something?" He pulled a folded piece of paper from his pocket and slid it across the table. Ethan unfolded it to find a sketch: two boys sitting at a library table, one leaning toward the other, their heads close together. Ethan recognized himself instantly. His cheeks warmed. You drew this? Yeah, Liam said softly. It's us. Well, how I see us. Ethan's heart ached in a way that was both terrifying and wonderful. It's really good, he murmured. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Liam stood and walked around the table. He stopped beside Ethan, close enough that Ethan could feel the heat of him. You're allowed to like someone, Liam said quietly, even if it's a boy. Ethan's pulse thundered in his ears. Slowly, almost without thinking, he reached out and took Liam's hand. Their fingers intertwined, and Ethan realized he had never felt something so right. They stayed like that for a long time, just two boys in the corner of the school library, holding hands while the sun dipped lower in the sky. There was no kiss, no grand confession, just a quiet truth shared between them, safe and warm dot in the weeks that followed. Their friendship deepened into something more. They were careful at school, but in the library, they let their guard down. They'd sit together in the same chair to read, their knees touching, or exchange shy glances that spoke volumes. Ethan still wasn't ready to tell the world, and Liam never pushed. We'll go at your pace, he said once. And Ethan had never been more grateful. By the end of the school year, the library had become more than just a sanctuary. It was their place. The backdrop to the first time Ethan felt brave enough to be himself. And though he didn't know what the future held, he knew one thing for sure. First love might start quietly, but it leaves echoes that never fade. Sometimes, when Ethan thought back to those afternoons, he remembered the sound of rain against the window, the golden dust floating in the air, and Liam's warm hand in his. And in his heart, that was where his first love would always live, between the shelves, under the soft light of the school library.